You know, Nick, 5 o'clock promptly. You know what time does Vape at 5 start, Nick?
Usually around 5:15, 5:30, right? Just tell me when we're live because sometimes I'll be like, I go in these Zoom rooms a lot and I'll just be talking, especially I'll be talking about the people in my chats usually because they're scumbags. And yeah, no, I don't like any of them. They think I like them, but because I do that calling out the name thing. But anyway, I'll be in these Zoom rooms and I'll be chatting away, and then there's going to be somebody in the Zoom room. There's a person in there not active, so their camera's not on. Here I am talking about them, and nobody lets me know.
You're a talker. You like I love everybody in my chats. I love them very much.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Don't even get me started, Scott.
We're live. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
What? Hello.
Great.
Nick was just telling you how he doesn't like any of you. I was standing up for you though the whole time. You should have heard me before I hit live. Welcome everybody to another edition of After the Shame, Addiction, Recovery, and Hope. I am one of your hosts. My name is Scott. I'm an alcoholic. With me is our new co-host, second host. I don't really want to call you a co-host. I don't want to put the co in front of your name. I just want to call you host 2. I'm host 1. You can be host 2.
Yeah, but usually the co-host sticks around for longer, though. Ain't that true? Like Regis and Kelly. Kelly stuck around, then Michael Strahan came.
Regis died.
Regis didn't die.
I'm not dying. Yeah, he did.
Regis died?
I think so.
Dude,
did
you
he die? I think he died. I think that's why he's not on there anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
He might have died, but he wasn't on there for a while.
I'm not gonna die, Nick. I know you probably wish I would, so you could take the show over. Make it yours! Nick, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining.
Is Regis dead? I
don't think so. I was just making that up. I don't think he's dead. I hope not. If he is, I feel horrible now, because I was completely making that up.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, he died in 2000.
Nah, Regis isn't dead. Is Regis really dead? You sure you're not looking up a different Regis?
Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
Philomonia. He died of. This might be fake. No, this is Wikipedia.
Regis really died?
I thought he didn't. Hodgkin lymphoma. He died several days earlier.
Several days earlier than today?
Who died from non-Hodgkin lymphoma 7 days earlier.
Holy shit, I did not know Regis was dead. I apologize to the Philman family. And I'll tell you, I carry his name with me everywhere I go.
Hold on. Because he's 88 today.
Regis is?
Is it his birthday?
Nick, let me look this up. You are fucking it up all over the place. I don't even know what you're looking at.
Look up Wikipedia. Go ahead. Do it. I dare you.
I'm going to look it up real quick. Regis Philman. Regis Philman. American. Regis Philman. No. He's still alive. 1961 to present. He was born in 1961?
I have 51.
31. He's 88. He's 88, dude. He's still alive.
I'm telling you, look it. I'm not lying.
He's active. His birthday's August 25th. It was 2 days ago. Wikipedia. Regis Philman, 87. Doesn't say anything about his death on there, bro.
Look right underneath the 27/2007, who had died from non-Hodgkin lymphoma several days earlier. And
that's probably his wife. You got to actually open up the Wikipedia.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not fuck that. They'll put a virus on your phone. Don't open the Wikipedia. You know, I carry Regis Philman with me wherever I go. Did you know this? You know why? Because every time I go to a restaurant, they always ask what your name is, and I always say Regis. You know why I say Regis?
Why?
1, because I wish that was my name. But 2, because nobody's ever named Regis. So you never ever like Scott. Like 6 people stand up. Like, which Scott? No, Regis. So they know who fucking Regis is.
I do that at Burger King when they say, what name do I put on the receipt to call you for take-in? And I'll be like, Kelly. And they'll laugh. I'll be like, I'm very offended.
That's a pretty popular name, though, Nick. You're not really getting anywhere by saying Kelly, because there could be another Kelly there. Like Burger King. I'm
just trying to get them to say something or do something where I could say, I'm offended.
That's what you need to do. Say your name's Sarah.
Yeah.
That's like Kelly can be a guy name.
Yeah. So many people are offended nowadays, and I never get offended. And I want to feel what it's like to be offended.
Be offended?
Yeah.
Yeah, people do get offended pretty easily nowadays. I think people look for to be offended. Yeah. It is exhausting to be that offended all the time. It's exhausting. It really is. I mean, that's ludicrous to me that it has to be that offensive in life. Anyway, welcome to Nick. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining me. This is new. You're now the host number 2 of After the Shame, the probably the best rehab show at 5:00 on Tuesday, twice a week.
Well, I'm so glad to be here for my first time.
No, you've been here before.
Oh,
you've been here. This is your second time on. Well, no, you've been on this way more than that. But yeah. But this is like your second time as the host number 2.
Okay.
Junior host. That's what you are.
How am I doing?
Not very good.
It's kind of making me look small.
But put it down so it makes you look taller.
Yeah, I like to do this. I like to do this and look up so when people meet me, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were bigger."
You're pretty tall though. You're a little taller than me. According to the picture we took. Were you on your tippy toes?
Yeah, anytime you came around, I made sure that I hopped on Yeti's shoulders.
Hopped on Yeti's shoulders. Hadn't carry you around.
Yeah.
He's pretty tall too. I was surprised at how tall Yeti is. Yeti's like my height.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only 5'10". I'm not like huge. But like, yeah. I didn't think Yeti was going to be that like as tall as me, but he was.
Yeah, who's short? Is there somebody that's really short?
Fresh.
You know, homeboy Josh always used to say that everybody thought he was taller for some reason.
Homeboy Josh?
Yeah, homeboy Josh was he's like 5'5" or something.
Is he? I didn't know that. He looks bigger than that.
Yeah, there's somebody else that's really short.
Fresh is not very tall.
Fresh, but you know, I heard it before I met him, so I was actually expecting smaller. So I was like, "Hey, you're taller than I imagined."
Did you actually said that to him?
Yeah, because everybody was like, "Oh, he's so fucking short. He's so short. He ain't that short."
Everybody said you were really shrimpy, and you're not near as shrimpy as I assumed you'd be. And don't get me wrong. You've got the shrimpness, but you're not that shrimpy.
Mm-mm.
Who's the tallest person you've met? And I know, like besides Batman, on that, who's the tallest person you've met?
Man, I'll tell you who surprised me. Twisted Messes surprised me how he's not like huge, but I didn't imagine him being that much taller, or he's got a big frame too. So Twisted Messes surprised me a little bit. Matt from Suck My Mod's pretty tall.
Yeah, I heard he's like 6'2".
Yeah. And
Jesse's taller than I thought he was.
Jesse's pretty big. Yeah.
Jesse's a big dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, damn, Jesse's a big fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like tall and big.
Yeah. Addy Tooney was supposed to come to Detroit that time, but he never got there. I heard Addy Tooney's a pretty big guy too.
Is he really? He's tall?
Yeah.
Do you think you could beat Jesse in an MMA fight?
I don't know.
What tactic would you use if you had to? I'm not saying you would, but like, you know about this stuff, right?
I would tire him out until the third round.
You'd go rounds with him?
Yeah, I would just run away until the third round.
But it's not that big. You're in the octagon.
Yeah, well, he's in the octagon.
You just like go like this around the octagon the whole time?
Yeah, I'll just keep backing up.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Do people do that in the octagon?
Yeah, you got to take them down too. You got to take the big guys down, because when people are on the ground, you're all the same size. You're all this
same
big.
size on the ground.
I think he's bigger than me on the ground, though, to be honest.
Have you been on the ground with him before, Nick?
No, I haven't.
You might want to test that out before you try to take him to the ground.
Can't say I haven't.
Can you lay down and let me lay on top of you with my legs spread across you, please? Like, don't. It doesn't mean anything. I just want to check your stats.
This is just a test.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining, brother. I love you, man. I'm glad you're here. Had so I was thinking about topics for today, and in a way, with a recovery show, you're kind of beating a horse. And what I mean by that is you can only talk about things so often, and it's just people kind of get maybe a little bit bored of the content. But one thing I thought about, and something I've never asked anybody, is what were some of the promises you made to yourself, not to other people, but to yourself? Because every promise you make to somebody else is a promise to yourself too, obviously. But can you think of any of the promises you made when you first decided this time to get in recovery?
So, I mean, a main one was just to stay away from things that I know that I shouldn't be around. And then another one was just work on myself. Just no kind of relationship or anything. Just work on myself. That was a big one. And one of the hard ones. And then there was a lot of promises that I thought I would keep that I didn't. I used to like to read in rehab, and I thought I would always keep reading. But after I kept reading for a good 6 months.
Kept reading?
Yeah.
What were you reading?
Anything. I read, because I didn't read a lot when I was younger. I wasn't a reader. I didn't really like reading. It was something I enjoyed. But when I went away, I read, the NA book twice, and then I was looking
the big book, the NA big book?
Yeah, and then I was looking for other stuff to read. I read other recovery things. I read that, The Secret, and then I started reading just regular books. I read...
Just like nonfiction and fiction stuff you pick up?
Yeah, I read the Zodiac Killer one. I read, what else did I read? Read a lot of Stephen King short story stuff, like a book full of short stories. I read, I have 3 Stephen Kings that I read up there. And just stuff that I thought would interest me. I wasn't a fast reader. I'm not one of the people that reads a book in a week or a day or some crazy readers. But
I have a lot. I want to come back to that, but I just want to say real quick, thank you. Creating with Ken. Ken changed his channel format over to more of an open format. He's done some crank calls and stuff, which I love. He's donated $5. Says, love you, buddy. Love the positive vibe of your show, brother. Vaping with Ken. Thank you, Ken. Love you, man. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What can you kind of go into a little bit of what is the big book, whether it's NA or AA?
I haven't read of. Have I read all AA? I've read NA. I've read NA a couple times. AA, I got one because when I went to meetings, AA meetings were more for me. It was almost all males. It was just almost all males my age. And I felt like people in AA accepted me more than people in NA.
Really?
Yeah, NA seemed very cliquey. AA seemed more like, it was probably just the neighborhood I'm in. AA was more just blue-collar guys that hardly have time for a meeting. They come there, maybe get a coffee after, and go home. They all got families and stuff. NA was very cliquey, and I think it's because around here, there was people still using in there. So it was still very, very cliquey. And I don't like that.
I'll tell you, I've been to NA and AA, a lot of meetings, and there's some NA meetings that I just love. There's one called Candlelight that is, I believe it's Wednesday night down in downtown Columbus. And it's literally, they turn off the lights, it's by candlelight. It's about 40, 50 people. And it's a roundtable type discussion. And I love that meeting. I always felt like I got something out of that meeting. And I think a lot of times in meetings, you kind of judge by time, how much time is in the room. Is there guys in there with 10, 15, 20 hard years of recovery, which you don't find so much in NA. And that's one of the negatives of it. Is A has been around longer, it's more established, and you have more guys who've been people, not guys. You have more people that have more time, And that's they're kind of the anchors of the group. They're always there. They're always going to be there no matter what. And they kind of anchor the group. But what I was going to say, so the NA and AA have what's called a big book. And the big book is just it's a book of information. For the AA book, it is, half of it is stories. And stories, and then they're older stories, but they relate so much. Like, you read them. Did you ever read any of the stories? You'd be like, wow, that's me.
Yeah, there's a couple that are like my favorite. I can't remember them off the top.
Me neither.
Yeah, actually, the AA book I did read all the way through because I remember I really liked the end when they're talking about a higher power and stuff. I'm not really a religious guy, but the end of that book does make a lot of sense for whatever reason.
And then the beginning of the book I haven't read the NA version, but the AA version is kind of what the creator of AA and some of his associates went through in the beginning, and it kind of gives you an idea. I think what I really took away from that is how normal I was. Mm-hmm. Because I think as an alcoholic, and especially somebody who, just with the shame of it and everything, like, I didn't think I was normal. Mm-hmm. I read that book and I'm like, wow, man, I have some brothers, because these are the people. I am just like these people. Just like these people I'm reading about is me. Yeah. And the things they are feeling and the things they're saying really are mean a lot to me. And I, not staying with the group theme or the AA or anything, but I think with recovery, any recovery literature you read, for the most part, I mean, you're going to relate to, whether you admit it or not. I mean, some people aren't in a place yet to admit that they relate to it, or maybe they're scared to admit they relate to it, but you do. You do. I mean, it's you. You're not any different. There's nothing,
Yeah, I hear you. Like, if you're in the right mindset, if you have a couple days clean and you read that book, it does seem like they wrote a book about you. It's just like, it nails it. Like, every step, every part of that book just fucking nails everything. And I think it's because they go through a lot of different scenarios. Like, they always say in there, like, it never says like, oh, you reach rock bottom because you did so many bad. It says some people hit rock bottom here, some people hit rock bottom there. You may not have been through all this, but you feel this way. And it just really does. It's very well written, and they did a really good job. I don't know.
It works. I mean, yeah, they did. And that's the thing about rock bottom. We could talk about that a little bit about that. It's not like an empty tank of gas. There's no like gauge that tells you when your rock bottom is. It's just that point where you say, I've had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough, and I can't do this.
The saying is, you hit rock bottom when you're sick of digging.
Yeah. You're sick of, I think when you come to a point where, for me, it was, either like, I'm going to drink myself to death, I'm going to put a gun in my mouth, or I'm going to go to jail. But one of those three have got to happen, because this is not working. It's not going to, I can't do this anymore. And, when you get so, when your mind gets so insane, from all the alcohol and drugs and things you're using, that you come to that looks like three viable paths for you, then, it's time to start making a change. And it's terrifying to try to make a change at the same time, because it's the only way you know how to live,
Yeah. It's crazy that it's like night and day, but it's also like, I feel like in some ways I also took it as a challenge that I didn't really think that I could do. Like, when I wanted to go to recovery, my whole thing was like, I fuck shit up bad, and I don't know if I can get back. But when people told me, like, if anybody could do it, you can, which goes with everybody. It's just, if you could gain stuff and fuck it up, you could gain that stuff back again. You got to start at zero, but it's very possible to do it. A lot of people do it.
I think it's so foolish to think that there's no way you're going to get out of it. Like, that's such a foolish thing to think. But at the same time, I know that feeling. And I know that feeling, like, literally being convinced of that. Being fucking convinced that there was no way out. There was no way out of this. And I think that it goes to show, if you're feeling like that we all felt that way.
Yeah.
And that there is a way out, that there certainly is a way out no matter what. And stop making excuses, right? Stop making excuses to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, is most people, they don't want to hear it, but lots of people think they just have rough luck, but for the most part, everybody does what they do to themselves, and they get exactly what they deserve. And it's not until they admit that they actually start, helping themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's I heard that in an MMA thing. There was a fight going on in MMA, and it seemed very true with lots of things in life. Is the guy said that the fight was a fluke. He hit me with a lucky shot. It was a fluke. It'll never happen again. And one of the announcers said, if it was a fluke, does that mean that he doesn't think he needs any more practice? He doesn't need to change things, and that he's going to do it the same exact way without changing a step because it was a fluke? Because if he does that, that's a big mistake. And I thought that was like a really good way to look at a lot of things. It's like,
sure.
Thinking it'll never happen again, or that's just luck. And he's in the position he's in because of luck, and I have bad luck, and nothing ever good happens for me, and nobody likes me, and all this stuff. Well, if you keep thinking like that, then you're not going to change anything. You think it's just luck, but you need to fucking change what you're doing in order to give yourself good luck. Everything you do is...
You make your own luck.
Yeah, you get what you deserve. You just Absolutely. Get what you set out. If you set out to do good things, you're probably going to get good things.
And I think that a lot of the decisions, especially on relapse, are made way, way before you actually go back out. Mm-hmm. There's decisions that are being made. And the key is to recognize those. And you can make bad decisions, but recognize them. Mm-hmm. Recognize them at night, sit down. I mean, I always think it's a good idea, and I do it all the time. Like, before I go to bed, I just kind of think for a little bit, like, how was my day? My day was pretty good. This sucked. I could have done this better. Be honest with yourself. What I mean? I could have done this better. I did pretty good with that. Maybe I'll try this something different. But a little self-analyzation helps with yourself realization, knowing yourself a little better, and being self-aware and things like that is really important to staying sober. Because once you start getting away from that, that's the things that start that ball rolling downhill. And once it's going, you can't really do anything about it. I mean, the first drink for me is, already planned before I even do it. Way, way before I do it to get to that point.
Yeah, it all starts with a thought. That's something that they teach in recovery too. It all starts with a thought, and you have the power to change that thought or to keep going with that thought. But everything always starts with a thought. Everything in life starts with a thought. Some thoughts are bad that you could change, and some thoughts are good that you keep going with, but they all start with a thought. But yeah, that's you've asked me before on this. You've asked a lot of people before, and people ask me all the time, like, what keeps you clean? Yeah. And I always say stuff like hobbies and stuff, and that's true in a way, but also just knowing what you stand to lose, because especially if you relapse, what is possible to lose, which is basically just everything.
Yeah. So
you could just lose everything. Anything I look around me, including family, anything, you could stand to lose all of that. And I was saying last week on the coil building show, there's somebody, he wasn't close to me, but it hit close to home because it was close to somebody that I know that just passed away. He was 40 years old, and he was a personality that thought he was indestructible. And the sad part about it is he was clean for the days before that. And it took just one bag of heroin, which was it was fentanyl. It wasn't even heroin. But it just took, and it's almost like sometimes people think like that too, like they could go away, they get a couple clean days in rehab, or they stay home a couple days. This happened a lot with me. I would just stay in, maybe wean myself down with less drugs, and then, maybe get 1 or 2 clean days, and then say, that wasn't so bad. I could go through that again. Like, I could have got out of rehab the last time and been like, 21 days, I could do that again. I could have went out and got high because I thought I could do that again. Well, that's probably pretty much what this guy did, and he ended up losing everything, like his life. And it's a crazy thing because it's a real sad thing to see somebody have a little bit of clean time and lose it that quickly, that way. It's just a real sad thing, somebody that has recovery time and still decides to pick up. And not even if they lose anything, that's just a sad thing altogether. Because then you have to, like, they always say addiction, there's always an underlying thing. It's not always just you're an addict. There's a reason you choose to pick up. There's always some kind of underlying issue that and if you don't take care of that issue, you're probably going to pick up again. That's why they put therapists in rehab, because there's something going on. It's not just you picked up because you were having a good day. That almost never happens. It's always, there's an underlying issue. Something in your life wasn't going right. You didn't like how things were going. There's just always an underlying issue. Sometimes it could be easy as maybe like I thought with me. I was just bored and I wanted to change. Well, that's the underlying issue there is, you don't know how to cope with life. You just don't know how to fucking deal with life on life's terms. That's just what it is. Work's making you bored. This is making you bored. Family life's making you bored. Everything's making you bored, and you don't know how to cope with that like normal people do. And that's, most of the times there's an underlying issue. And if people don't find that underlying issue when they're in early recovery or within their recovery, they're probably going to go back to using.
Yeah, nobody can white knuckle it.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. You can get away with it for a while, but it's a different way of life, and there's things about it for me that that I have to do to keep me sober. And one of the things I have to do is honesty. That's a big one. Is I can't be deceitful to people. I really can't, and even in the littlest aspects, because if I start to see myself again as deceitful, then that leads me down a really, really bad path. And so there's little things like that I can't let myself slip on. And that's like that daily maintenance of things that I kind of, I have to keep going. Because I spent, when you're an alcoholic and addict, you deceive people. I mean, that's what you do, because everything about you is trying to keep yourself going and doing what you're doing. And nobody in their right mind is going to allow you to do that. So you have to deceive people in order to be able to continue it. And typically an alcoholic or an addict, a good one, who's been doing it for a while, is very good at that. Very good at being, underhanded. Not underhanded, intentionally hurting people, not in that respect, but being able to lie and deceive people to, so they leave you alone and let you keep doing what you're doing. So, another part of that is you talked about having a lot of time and then it all going away. And that's why it's for me, it's a process. It's a process. It's a daily thing that I do. You know what I mean? And there's certain things that I do. And like, for example, I pray every day, twice a day. And that's just what I do, and that is, I don't know. Some people don't believe in higher power or God or whatever, and that's completely fine. But that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And that's something that like I do it every day, and I don't just do it. Like I don't just be like, hey, thank you for this food. All right, good. I don't check it off. Like I actually do it. Like I have a whole thing that I do, but I actually stop and do and think about what I want to say. And there's a couple of things I always ask for. And I think that, I have a commitment to that. And there's other things that I do that, these daily things that you have to constantly do in order to keep yourself in the long term, I feel, on that path, because it's so easy to get off of, man. It's so easy to be like, just go and do it one time. Nobody will fucking know. Nobody will know. There's no shame in that, but you'll know. You know what I mean?
That's the praying thing was big for me when I got out too, and it turned into just meditation though, because I've heard some things. Like the big thing with praying is you will almost answer your own questions. If there's questions, if there's a problem you have, and you just sit there and actually think about it with no noise behind you, and you actually just concentrate on what you need to do, you could probably just find the path yourself of what's going on. Usually talking out loud helps out a lot. That's why meetings are good, is because when people talk out loud, they can almost answer themselves immediately because they're hearing somebody, even if it's themselves, saying something out loud, and they'll almost answer it. Next time, if anybody goes to a meeting, go to a meeting and somebody that speaks up, they might talk about a problem, and they'll almost answer it immediately. It's like, I'm having problems with my girlfriend, and I don't know what to do. I should probably just take a break off. And they'll say stuff. They'll answer the question while they're actually talking about the problem. We should probably just have a break and stuff, but it's hard, and I don't know. Maybe I should start taking different avenues in my job, and they'll actually start answering their own questions when they say it out loud. And that's one of the big things about a meeting, is it makes you open up and talk out loud, because if you just say it in your mind, it's not real. When you say it out loud and people are listening, you realize what it sounds like and what that question sounds like, because if another person across from you says the same exact question, you would have that answer as well. It's not like you can't figure it out. It's just you're not being honest enough to open up and say it.
Yeah. I think, another part of that is being open to suggestions. And I think being able to wade your way through the bullshit is really key. Listening, going to meetings or going to somewhere, having a conversation like this, like Nick and I are having, and finding what works for you. You don't have to do everything that everybody tells you to do. Not after you have a little bit under your belt. The beginning, yeah, you should. Somebody tells you to go stand in the middle of the street and do jumping jacks, you probably should do it. Just do it. Don't even question what they're telling you to do. Just do it. That's hard because you're breaking yourself of control. You know what I mean? An addict, part of that is being a control freak. I mean, that's part of being an addict or an alcoholic. And you have to break yourself of that control, like part of your personality. And listening to people and doing what they say is part of that. But once you have a little time under your belt and you start to understand yourself a little better, it's like when you're here in a conversation like Nick and I am, and you're listening to it, pick what works for you. Listen to it. You don't have to take everything. Don't try to eat the whole cow, right? Just take a bite. Listen to the different things that people are saying. Find out what works for you and use that. Mm-hmm. And the rest of it, maybe you put it in a bag somewhere and you keep it for later, but you don't have to try to do everything at once. You see a lot of people that come in recovery and they come out of rehab, or they come out of a meeting and they are, Mr. Recovery. And they go and they attack their recovery like they attack their addiction. And that's great. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but you need to be conscious that it's going to go away. That fascination with it, that newness of it is going to go away. And you're going to have to be prepared when it does in order to maintain that lifestyle without the enthusiasm of doing it, because there's nothing to be enthused about in recovery as far as like your daily stuff. You just you get yourself in a way that you just do it. So I think it's another. I think the biggest point to take away from that is that talking about stuff like this is very, very important. That keeping it all bottled up and not talking about it, whether it's in chat or live with somebody else, is key. It really, really is, because you have to identify who you are. And, that's why in a lot of meetings, and I go back to the meetings, you always identify yourself. I'm an alcoholic. And you say that because, you need to hear that. You need to hear yourself say that. I believe it. I need to hear myself say that. And it helps me to identify myself as that. And, it gives me perspective in a lot of situations, knowing that I am that.
Yeah. It's humbling when you say that, like, especially if you don't say it too much. It's humbling because, you always think and it, but when you say it out loud, it's a very different thing. That and it's important to have somebody that you can tell. It's important to have somebody that's going to call you on your bullshit, first of all. Like, I always realize that I'm very bad at taking suggestions. I'm very stubborn. I'm just a stubborn person, and when most people, I get very defensive when they do something a different way. But like when I was in rehab, one of the big things for me was one of like he wasn't just a security guard. He was also like a counselor. And man, he was rough. He was fucking rough. And I liked it because he would tell everybody about their fucking bullshit. Tell everybody, you know, you're too fucking stubborn. You know, you think you fucking got it all figured out. You'll be back. You're gonna be right back here because 10 of these people just fucking left and they were fucking back because they don't fucking listen. And you think just coming here and getting your fucking method on and leaving's gonna help, but you're not doing no fucking work on yourself. And you know, you think groups bullshit, you think meetings are bullshit, you just want to go play basketball on the breaks and eat and fucking sleep, but you ain't doing no fucking work. And he would just, it would be like, it's a kind of like a tough love thing, but he was effective. He was effective for me, I'm sure.
I had a guy like that. I know a guy like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It works. I mean, it works.
That's why meetings are good, because there's always a bigger fish. You may be that guy in the room that's helping people like that, but there's going to be some guy that tells that guy about his bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, you know, you talk too fucking much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have to take into account that when you go into a place like that, that everybody there, nobody's perfect. Do not hold anybody in like this high regard. That's not what the intention of it is. Because once you start, if you don't want to idolize anybody in that respect, and a lot of people, you know, they get a sponsor, they start looking up to somebody, and don't look up to people. These people are just like you. Nobody's unique. You can learn things from people, and you can hold people in the esteem of being wise. That's not a problem. But at the same time, they are one step away from being right back where they were, just like you are. There's no difference. But at the same time, it is good to get called on your bullshit. Absolutely. And it, you know, if you don't have somebody in your family that will do that, I fortunately do. I have Veronica. Veronica will tell me immediately on my bullshit, immediately, which is a huge thing for me. But some people don't have that. And sometimes you have to have just a complete stranger tell you, and you need to sit there and listen and, you know, just take it in.
Yeah.
Stay away from the 13th step, Matt Clark says. Anybody who isn't aware what the 13th step is when you basically start hooking up with people in the meetings, in the rooms. And that's a big thing. You know, they try to keep, I was watching a show the other day and this guy had a female sponsor and I'm like, that's not accurate. They don't do that. You have a male sponsor, males have males, women have women. That's just the way it is. And it is traditional and old fashioned in that respect. Typically guys don't sit with the girls, girls don't sit with the guys. They sit separate because there is not the fraternization of that, especially in that type of environment, can be really, really damaging. To your recovery, especially in the beginning. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That's one I got caught up in that fucking a little bit in my early in this fucking recovery, and it sucked because I ended up feeling bad at the end because I knew there was nothing getting me on. It just wasn't fucking happening. I was in rehab with some girl. We met up after rehab, got out. I got out first. For a week, I was doing my thing, doing good and everything. She got out. We met up. The day we met up, after we were done seeing each other, she went to go fucking smoke crack. I actually went with her to make sure she was okay in the neighborhood. And then I fucking left her, and she went on a run all over again. And I ended up feeling bad because I was good. I knew I wasn't, there was nothing getting in my way, but it sucked that I felt like maybe she was focusing on other shit other than her recovery that she should have been fucking focusing on.
That's the thing. You can't get wrapped up in that stuff, man. You really have to strip down to the basics of your life. You really do. And, you know, a lot of times during my addiction and during my alcoholism, like I prioritize that over everything else. I need to strip that down and worry about me, my kids, my wife, my house, my bills. Just worry about that. Nothing else. Not worrying about, you know, anything that could get me into trouble. And I think that it's too overwhelming, especially at the beginning, to get involved in a relationship, especially a new one. Wow, man. And especially with another addict. That's just a recipe for disaster. I don't know how many times that works out. Maybe it does work out sometimes, but God, I've never heard any stories like that it has. I mean, it really, because
Well,
I mean,
a real relationship.
like you always pull somebody down. This is such a good thing to avoid.
Without drugs, relationships are a lot of work.
Yeah.
It just is. It just, without drugs involved at all, relationships are a lot of fucking work because you focus on yourself, you have to focus on somebody else now. And if you can't even focus on yourself when you're doing drugs or just getting off drugs and just trying to fix yourself, there's no way that that could ever work out. I mean, I'm sure there's some cases where it works out. I'm sure there's people in the chat saying, you know, I knew my fiance ever since we were getting high and we're still good. And
not really. No, everybody's pretty much on the same page as well.
Yeah, it just doesn't, it usually doesn't work out like that. Relationships are a lot of fucking work. That's why right now I stay out of them because I'm still focusing on myself. I got things to take care of. And for me to focus on somebody else with a daughter and myself, and it would just be too much.
You know, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position because you're you know, one thing about recovery and one is learning how to deal with things without getting drunk or getting high. That's the biggest part. Like when things happen in my life, tragedy, roadblocks and things like that, whether it be personal or business, whatever it is, easiest way to deal with it for me was always drinking. Just drink and I'll forget about it. I'll drink it away and then I won't worry about it for a while. And then I'll drink again to forget again. So if you don't have an established other mechanisms that you can use to like deal with that, and then you put yourself in a relationship where you're vulnerable, you know, being in a relationship with somebody, you're vulnerable because you're basically becoming emotionally attached to a person that at any time can tell you they don't like you or they don't want to be with you or they can abuse you physically, mentally, things like that. There's all kinds of things that could happen. There's all kinds of things positive that could happen as well. But putting yourself in that situation is just like playing with dynamite because you don't know. You don't know if that's going to happen. You're taking a lot of the control that you need for yourself and giving it to somebody else. Yeah.
That's why I like hookers, man. It's not like dynamite, man.
They're the best.
So connections.
Hookers are the best. Yeah. As long as you don't get AIDS. Hookers are the best.
Is AIDS even a thing anymore?
What do you mean? Yeah.
You take a pill, you're good.
You know, it's funny because there's a lot of medications, very expensive though.
Mm-hmm.
You have HIV. Yeah, they have drug programs that you can get on that you can live with HIV.
Yeah, I used to go to in rehab, I used to go to the Sex Anonymous things, and they had a couple come in. The male had AIDS, the female didn't. They had a kid that didn't, and they were talking about like they still, you know, practice safety, and he takes a pill and everything, and they educate safety and safe sex and everything, and not having too many partners and all that stuff. But they were saying, you know, don't be ashamed of it because there is a lot of medicines nowadays where, you know, you could have a couple, the one person have AIDS, you even have kids and you don't have AIDS and stuff like that. So it's a very different thing than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It isn't a death sentence like it used to be.
No.
Like it used to be, you didn't even know you had it until it was AIDS. And then you'd come in, you'd have like weeks to live.
Yeah, I started the beginning of that Freddie Mercury movie, the Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't finish it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it got him. Got a lot of people, man. I was back in that time frame, back in the, you know, mid to late 80s, early 90s. People were dying from it. It was terrible. My God, man. I'll tell you, you know, it's a terrifying time to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
HIV, the drug, you know, nuclear war, all that. I've talked about that 100 times. That's a terrifying time to grow up in America, man. Yeah. It really was. Yeah, Big Red said you can't focus on someone else until you focus on yourself. And that I think that's the point to really, really take away. Still going to try to avoid it at all costs, says Charlie. Charlie, you need to get married. Charlie needs to get married. He does. Oh, there's Veronica Gibson. Nick, she came to see you.
Oh, hey, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica Gibson. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear you say hi.
I told Veronica, I just told everybody that you pretty much call me on my bullshit, so you keep me from straying the path. Right.
Yeah, it's good to have it like that. I'm sure Veronica's like that. It's good to have somebody that knows that something's up with you before sometimes before you even know something's up with you. Like, they'll just say, like, what's wrong? I'm like, what do you mean, what's wrong? Oh, I know that look.
Yeah. I'll tell you, this show helps me a lot too, man. Because like today, I had a shitty day, just a long day. It was just a lot. This is a stressful day. Hi, Veronica. Just got home. What you doing?
Right on cue.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Just got on the show. See how you and Mr. Nick's doing.
We're doing
Hi,
pretty.
Nick.
Hey, Veronica.
It says, "Hey, Veronica."
Let me get my chat up.
That's the dentist lady. That's the dentist lady. What are we doing for dinner?
I don't know. I just walked in.
Just walked in.
Perform miracles and whip something up real quick, like Betty Crocker.
No, Betty Crocker.
Yeah.
Charlie says, Veronica, Scott said he wishes you would call him on his bullshit more. He said he's getting away with way too much. I did not say
call
that.
you out on your bullshit.
I did not say that. She does. She actually calls me out on it too much, Nick.
I do.
She calls me out on it too much.
I'll bust your ass out.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. She does.
Hey, did you get any vape mail today?
I got some vape mail. I did. Should I open it?
If you want to show off something, I don't know if you want to wait for another show.
I've got some pretty cool stuff here. We got about 10 minutes. I got 2 packages. The first one here is from Vapor Clouds. Vapor's Cloud. See what's in the box. What's in the box? I'm going to show you. Hold on. See what's in the box here.
What's in the box? What is in the box?
There's some peanuts in the box. There it is.
The Saga. Ooh.
Saga. It is a dual 21700 series box. I need to keep the receipt so I can write this off on taxes since I am reviewing it.
Mm-hmm.
It is part of. So let's see what's in the box here. Oh, the box is fucked up. Oh, nice. There it is.
It's just a full up series.
Full up 21700.
Is it a potentiometer, a PWM?
Nope. That's it, man. Gives you 7.2 right from the get, or 8.4, I guess you would say. 2 of them. Got some extras in here, some springs. That's it. Positive, negative. Put it in there. Fits really nicely in the hand. Looks like it will fit. Let's see how big an atomizer. Let me grab which one is this? It's my Widowmaker. Let's just see how that fits on here.
Oh, God.
It's nice. You could go about, that's a 25. You could go about 27, probably 28 on there.
That looks like almost a 30 even.
You know what? It'd be close. Really close. I got some juice. I had the squonk pen in on this, which was probably not smart. I thought I'd emptied that out. Yeah, very nice. I got this, and I got something else. This is going to be for review. Oh, Lord. Well, that's not good. I just wiped off the top, and the O-ring came out immediately.
Great.
So, there it is. So the O-ring is not in there very well, which is kind of sucks.
So a little bit ago, I got this Wonderlust light, right? And I was talking about on the channel. It's an alright pod. It's got a ceramic coil in there, right?
Yeah.
It's a pod. And I was talking about, like, I'm not doing pods. I'm probably just going to get rid of all the sponsors. I'm sick of every company coming out with a pod now. Fucking done. And I reviewed this after that. I got it. I showed it in vape mail. Then I reviewed it, and I was getting comments like, I thought you weren't doing pods no more. I thought you weren't doing fucking, what did he call you, fucking hypocrite? I thought you weren't doing no fucking pods.
They get mad at you.
The pod I said is the last pod, asshole. So then I did my review on it and everything, and then I get mail. It's another fucking Wonderlust. Are they trolling?
Nobody ever sends me anything. Nobody ever sends me anything for it. I mean, I get stuff from like the reviewers to review their products, but like I don't get any. Like I get emails from companies. I got an email from this guy called Meg today. I just ignored it. All right, here is. So these are Miss Jane. I don't know if they're wrapped in. Yeah. So here these are for Miss Jane Dodd. 22 millimeter.
Dot mod.
That's the Agua. I
love dot mods. Yeah. I got the old dot mod.
Those are for Jane. And here is what I got. This thing's in a big. This isn't a big box. That's nice.
Yeah, this is 20,
that 24?
22. This is an old one.
Really?
Yep.
Looks bigger than 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's what I got.
Ooh, is that? Oh, that's the mouth to lung one. Yeah.
So it's similar to a billet box in that respect. It's an AIO. It's got, I don't know, I think they give you 3 different, which I'm going to review this one too. So I'm not even going to start using it yet. But they give you, looks like they give you 3 extra. And it also looks like they give you a mouth to lung drip tip added, little Ultim piece. They give you 3 coils. User manual. It's really, I'll tell you, the DotMod's packaging is really, really nice. They do a really, really good presentation of the device. Let me put that back in there before I mess anything up. So I got these 2 for review. And then tomorrow, and I don't know what the battery is. I'm going to have to look that all up and see what all the battery is and everything. Cute little mod. I mean, very nice. Fits in the hand nice.
Like this guy, only that one's
Yeah, that's 200.
This is it could be any of the batteries, I believe, right? Yeah, this could be any of the batteries. The Squonk one, yeah.
Got that for review, and the Saga. So I got some nice reviews coming, and then Jane's 2 mods, which I'm sending out to her, and then this is what I'm reviewing tomorrow.
Is that the Vindicator?
No, Ruby 21. It's a Vindicator.
Oh, you got that guy. Okay.
So it's a built-in deck. Those are Clint Johnson 6-wrap stainless steel aliens in there.
Nice.
Yeah, man. This is I honestly, this may be the best Kennedy. It may be.
The rubies are nice, yeah. I always like being able to change the atomizer because also you could only pulse on that. So that's one of the downfalls, but they're super nice.
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge thing on a mech device that you can only pulse on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because obviously I would have put it onto a regulated device to like get all the hotspots out. I didn't really have to worry about Nick's or Clint's coils are so nice. I didn't have to worry about like falling apart or anything, which you do have to worry about on mech device. But it hits fantastic. It is feels great in the hand. I mean, it's basically a Vindicator. They give you the constant contact switch with I got the devil button on it or the dragon button on it. So really, really nice setup. It's pricey though, because you have them, that's a 26, they don't sell 26 millimeter atomizers, and that's a 26 millimeter atomizer on top basically. So it's kind of a new type deck, but works great.
I guess the Vindicator just tapers down to 25 or whatever, or 26, and they didn't put out a 26, huh?
I know they have 26. They have 25 and 24.
Yeah.
And 22. But I don't even know if they sell the 22s anymore.
They did have a 22? Wow.
Yeah. They had 22 millimeter Kennedys back like when I first started vaping like 4 years ago. Yeah. I think I actually have a 22. Do I have a 22 millimeter? I might. I have to double check. I think I do.
I have a 24, not a 22. Yeah, I think the 24 was the Kennedy too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got this tomorrow for review. But yeah, so that's going on. Pardon, what the hell is a billet box? Oh, a billet box is like a really high-end AIO system. Very similar to what I just showed you. Very similar, but not. A lot more options and things like that. It's actually a brand. It's very, very popular. I probably will get one maybe around Christmas time, but it's not a high priority for me. And quite frankly, that dot mod is I'm going to send it to one of the patrons to use after I'm done testing it to see what they think. Yeah, because I already have that. I already have my my other AIO system that I use, so I don't really need that. Yeah, Billbox is GOAT. It is, man.
Yeah,
That's another thing about and that's what I was going to say. What Matt Clark said as well is I don't really see many other atomizers on Kennedy's because it matches so well. You know what I mean? It's just like keep your regular atomizer on there. Keep the Kennedy atomizer on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's known to be the best atomizer anyway. I think it's probably the best flavor for an atomizer.
It's certainly up there. And I don't have any leaking problems with mine, or I never have. So I know some people say they leak, it's bottom airflow, but I've never had any leaking problem with them.
No. You just don't be an idiot, you know?
Yeah, just don't be dumb. All right, and I got a unicorn mod coming for Stan, so that'll be another review I got. All right, 6 o'clock, Nick. You got any parting words for the folks at home?
Yeah, I'll be on at 7:30. Coil class, stitched aliens, interlocked aliens, and other than that, tune in next week. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment. Thank you for having me, Scott. I enjoyed the talk.
Me too, man. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Thanks for everybody. If you know anybody who may have a problem, could have a problem, I think you may have a problem, could have a problem, might not have a problem, think you have a problem. Talking to somebody about having a problem, there's help for you. People that care about you, people that love you, you can do it. I promise you, there's a way out. Don't ever give up. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. I got a review, just as I mentioned, for the Ruby 21. And tonight on the YouTubes, you got Nick will be on. Fresh will be on. ST is on at 8. Fresh is on at 9. Nick's on at 7:30. Who else we got, Nick, tonight? I think there's something else on. Who am I missing? I don't know.
It don't matter as long as you're at my channel at 7.
As long as you're watching Nick's channel, it doesn't matter. All right, guys, have a great week. I will see you tomorrow. Vape at 5. Be there or be square.